Good morning. Welcome to Coffee and Tarot Time. Happy Saturday. Hopefully everyone had an enjoyable week. So one of the most questions I get asked often is, why is nothing happening? That's when people call me for personal readings. It seems a lot. They're in that mode of, it just seems like nothing's happening. And to me, I've been there too. So I get it. Like you already programmed your mind that your life is just going to be wash, rinse, and repeat. When actually, that's when things are lining up. I've always found that. Now, maybe I'm more optimistic only because of the fact that I do this every day. So I talk to a lot of people and I've seen how life changes. And I'm really getting a good, over the years, over 45 years, I've put myself in a category that I am a good judge of character. Because I just see human nature, how people react and what they want. So I feel moving forward for my readings, I'm going to just try to take a little bit from what people ask, and hopefully it resonates with everyone. Don't get nervous. We got the tower showed up. Ah. I know a lot of you watch tarot so much that you're already like, oh, crap. The tower card's there. But let's go because you guys hate when I chit chat. So bite me. All right. So when we see the Knight of Swords, he's our fastest moving knight. And don't forget, swords are all about air energy. And they're the signs Aries. I was putting two together. Aquarius, Gemini, and Libra. Okay. And swords are our thought process. They're always that thing that, an idea comes to you and you rush out and you do it. And it's like, well, that really looked better on paper. So, he moves ahead without conviction. I got to say the truth, But the stormy sky and the horse, because I love symbolism, just tells you like your desire is there, but there could be some things that create resistance. So the energy's building, I feel, it's there. Like you're all hyped up. Like you want to start this exercise program. So you go out and you buy all this equipment, but you don't read the instructions, and you're sitting there looking at this, $500 piece of equipment and you're like, well, what do I do now? How do I do it now? And I'm notorious for that. Like I buy things, try to use them, think I'm smarter than the next guy, and then I end up reading the instructions. So then we come up with the tower, and people fear the tower. They almost feel it's retribution or punishment. They feel that, oh no, what have I done? It's going to come after me. And you could see like lightning striking the top of it, and that just means that you're having an awakening. It's like you've believed that, the simplest of things throughout your life, only to find out that it's not true. It's really, it's not true. And that's scary when you think about it. Like maybe your grandmother told you something that, eggs need to be in the refrigerator, something like that. I'm grasping over here. And you realize that they really don't, especially farm fresh eggs. I'm pretty sure that's a true statement. And you're like, damn, I've been putting them in the refrigerator forever. So it's like that. You kind of realize that there's a lot of false beliefs being struck down, But before something can change, something has to be taken away. So that's what our tower does. So we can't hate our tower, see? And they make it gray and stormy and, I don't know. It's just the way it is. I don't think there's any happy looking tower in any of the decks I own. I have a ton of decks too. So now we move on to our Page of Cups. And I love our Page of Cups. And cups are representative of water signs, Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. And I like that, it's movement. See, the water behind him is moving. And don't forget, pages are also messages, okay? Pages are also messages. And it's like the cup is your inspiration and then all of a sudden the fish pops out, and it's like more information, if that makes sense. It's like the fish pops out, so now you have unexpected conversations with people that you didn't expect. I always talk about this manifestation like this. I feel this is a really good analogy. All of a sudden, you watch somebody on TV and they're doing yoga. Okay, you just see yoga and you're like, I want to try that. Even though my body is not meant to bend all those ways. I'll just tell you right now. So you want to try yoga. And actually, I went to my hairdresser the other day and she goes, I'm doing Pilates now. And I'm thinking, should I try it? And then there's another voice that's like, leave your little 64-year-old body alone. Do what you do. So anyway, back to the yoga. So you see the yoga and you start thinking about it. So you make a move out in the real world. You go buy a yoga mat. What have you done? You've made a move in the physical. Okay? So now you've made a move in the physical, and then all of a sudden you start seeing yoga studios popping up. You're like, wait, have they always been here? Because I drive by this road all the time. So now your awareness of what you really want, because, and this is what I believe, you've made a move in the physical. You haven't, excuse me, you haven't just sat there and had happy thoughts, which happy thoughts are fine, okay? And you haven't cut out pictures from a magazine. They still make magazines, right? Or a Pinterest board. You've actually done an act in the physical. And it was so small. It was just, let's buy a yoga mat. Okay, let's buy a yoga mat. So then we come to the full. See my fingers here so you know it's me. That's the only finger you want me to show. But I like doing it this way because, I don't know, maybe when I'll do some in front of the camera, but I got to hold the card up. And I don't know. I just feel when I do it this way, when I point to things, you could see them. All right, so we get to the Fool card, and I love the Fool because the Fool is all about fresh starts, But it's funny, it's almost like it's fresh starts, but we've repeated this before. And how do we know we've repeated it? Because the backpack has all your lessons in it. The backpack has all your lessons, and it assures you, because it's on your back, it assures you that you got this. You can definitely do this. And the cliff, which I always say about the cliff, is it 3 inches or 3,000 feet? But that's not the point. The point is the cliff reminds you that it's okay to take a leap of faith. Now, I'm not saying go jump off a cliff by any means, but it's just an analogy. And the white dog, the small dog also, he encourages the movement. He's your trusted, loyal friend, okay? So it's a good card for new beginnings. And then we come up to the Four of Wands. This is one of my favorite cards. As you could see, the bottom is bent off because I have a few of these decks. I'm probably going to treat myself to a new one. This one's old. I would say, oh God, this deck's got to be, I had this when I was in my store, and that's over 20 years ago. And I do have another one around here, but I think I'll treat myself to a new one. But anyway, this is the Hangman, okay? And I love this because our Hangman has not moved. There's been no movement, which tells us maybe we do need that tower to come in and shake his butt right off that tree. But the Four of Wands is a celebration. It's a beautiful card. I love it because it's a celebration of stability. See how their feet are on that platform? And they have a canopy. So it talks about protection. It talks about you're covered on top, you're stable on the bottom. And it's just all about starting again. And when I look at this card, I see an A, which tells me it's the aces, it's the beginning. That may be a stretch for some, but that's what I say. And you got to remember, a lot of tarot is interpretive. Everybody's going to get, and I had this happen to me recently where someone's like, I disagree. That card doesn't mean that. And I read empathically, symbology. I just do a whole assortment of things that have not failed me through the years. So Sometimes I do the standard, but who wants to be basic? No one wants to be basic. So then we get to temperance. I like temperance. And temperance is the answer to this entire spread. It's patience, and it's mixing things. And nobody ever wants to hear that. Like if I say to somebody, you have to be patient, I know they're giving me sneers and dirty looks. But the one foot, if you look, the one foot on the land and the one on the water shows a balance between logic and intuition. Okay. And a lot of us are good, myself included. Like we'll get a gut feeling and we're like, yeah, I'm going with it. Like I stand behind it. Where others, get wishy-washy, they don't want to go with that feeling. So we get the card of temperance, and it shows divine timing. It shows experiences behind the scene. See all that going on? And it just tells you that sometimes progress is happening, but you can't really see it, and you can't measure it. And that's what kills a lot of people, because we're all linear. We all believe in linear. You know what I'm saying? And things sometimes get in our way of that linear. And I always use GPS as a good example. You put in, I want to go to 100 Main Street, and you get in your car and it says, turn left here, turn right here. But when it gets to, do you like that voice interpretation? But I used to have a British guy. And it told my kids would get in my car and they're like, get that off. Gotta love children. Or do ya? But anyway, so back to the GPS. So then instead of taking that right, you take a left. Let's call that our free will. Okay. So then it says recalculating. And I think that's a good analogy for how life is, because sometimes we do take a left and when we're meant to take a right, and that's our free will choice, and it does recalculate. So the reason nothing seems to be happening, back to the original question, I feel is like Spirit is rearranging the foundation before the next door. He's doing that recalculate sort of thing, and we all have desires. We want it now. Come on. We live in the world of instant gratification. Who doesn't? You know what I'm saying? Like, I started my diet on Monday. Why can't I still lose all the weight by Friday? You know what I'm saying? You jump on the scale right away. I don't know about anybody else, but I'm a scale whore. I just got to say it. I don't know why, but I am. I've always been like that. But anyway, so, I feel sometimes the biggest breakthroughs and the biggest things that are happening are invisible. Okay. And the Fool says your next chapter is about to be closed, but it asks for trust. The Four of Wands suggests the destination is stable and something worth celebrating. Okay. But I think it's all in divine timing. And I just want you to remember, and hopefully this reading has conveyed it, that what feels like stillness is actually preparation. Does that make sense? And that's what I tell people, when they want their reading and they call me, they're like, well, and I always say, what brings you here? Because something always brings. No one ever just reaches out to say, hey, Denise, how are you? So, which is fine too. But I always say, what brings you here? And they're just like, well, nothing really. It's like nothing's moving, and I reaffirm, it's preparation. It's universe preparation. They are getting things ready because at some point, instead of taking that right, you took that left. So I hope this reading made sense, and I hope you like my new style. I found I was getting away from my traditional style, and that's not what my channel was supposed to be about. And I said, you know what? This girl got skills in reading. I've been doing this a long time. And I said, you know what? I got to get back to it. So that's where I am now. And I try to throw that little chit chat in the middle, but I don't want to do too much because you people get pissy. All right, everyone. This is Coffee and Tarot time. And I am the Queen of Wands. Everybody, have a great day.